back to the channel. Okay Gündogan is set to leave Barcelona after spending just one season at the club. What the hell is going on at Barcelona? I'm laughing because I don't want to cry. Honestly, I'm laughing because I don't want to cry. Every day at Barca, it's like keeping up with the Kardashians, man. It's like a reality TV show. It's like a soap opera. There's something new every single day at Barcelona. And I'm entertained by it. Honestly, I'll be completely honest. I'm entertained by it, but I'm also really pissed. Because it's my club. If this was happening at any other club, I would love it. If this was happening at Madrid, if every day there was some drama with Real Madrid, oh my God, I'd be loving it. And I'm sure Real Madrid fans are loving what's happening at Barca right now. Because like I said, every day it's something new. Our coach is getting fired. We're selling the youngster that we brought in from Brazil in fucking January. And the coaches are bullying him in training. You know, we're getting rid of our best and most consistent player from last season after, again, he only spent one season at the club. It's like, I never know what to expect. And again, for content purposes, I guess it's great. But I don't want to have to I don't want to have to cover all these negative stories surrounding my club, man. I'm kind of sick of it. And like I said, Okay Gündogan, that's the newest story that came out today. He's set to leave Barcelona 100% this transfer window. I'm sorry that I'm late to talk about this, by the way. I know most of you guys are probably expecting my video, you know, at noon or like when I usually post, my usual time. But honestly, bro, it's your mom. Your mom is a freak, man. Your mom is actually, she's crazy. I knew she was crazy, but I didn't know she was this crazy. You know, round after round after round, you know, we're round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. I'm ready to tap out. She won't let me tap out. She will not let me tap out. We did round 5, 6, 7. Look at me. I'm kind of sweating, bro. It's like I did a workout today. So again, congrats to your mom, man. She's a warrior. And congrats to me for, you know, for giving it to her. But anyway, that's besides the point. Enough about your mom. Poor thing. She's probably resting right now. She needs sleep. But again, let's talk about Okay Gündogan, bro. Because you guys were telling me in my stream all of Saturday. By the way, if you came out to the stream, shout out to you. It was fucking amazing. You guys were telling me, a couple of you guys in the chat were telling me, bro, check the news. Gündogan's gonna leave Barca. And I would check the news, and it was like people were reporting on it, but it wasn't really credible reporting. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna bother making a video on this because it's probably not gonna happen. Gündogan's not gonna leave. He's made it clear he doesn't want to leave in Barca. I didn't want to get rid of him. And then Sunday, the story kind of started picking up a little bit more steam. But again, Fabrizio Romano hadn't talked about it. David Ornstein hadn't talked about it. So I was like, you know what? Until those two guys don't talk about it, I'm not going to make a video about it. And then today, to my surprise, Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein both confirmed that Okay Gündogan is 100% going to leave Barca. And it looks like he's heading back to Man City. I think Barca are pushing Gündogan out just like they did with Xavi because of the, you know, it's been kind of weird with Gündogan over the past couple months in the preseason, the whole thing with Güler. And I think honestly Barca just didn't plan for this whole Dani Olmo thing, so they got to get rid of players to obviously register him because you spent 60 million on a player and you haven't registered him yet. And La Liga started on Saturday. So I think Barca are trying to push Gündogan out the back door, and Gündogan didn't want to leave, but he said, you know what, if you guys don't want me here, I'm not going to stay. I'm one of the greatest midfielders of my generation. Why the fuck would I stay at a club that doesn't want me when I can just go back to City where they do want me? And let's be honest, I'll probably win more trophies than I'll win here. So again, I think that's what's happening. I think Barca wanted to push Gündogan out. I think Barca wanted to push Gündogan out. Gündogan was reluctant at first, and then he just kind of gave in and said, you know what, if you guys want me to leave, I'll leave. Now, how do I feel about Okay Gündogan leaving? Wherever he goes next, I really don't give a fuck, okay? If he goes back to City, if he goes to Qatar, there's reports about he's going to go like the Turkish league. I don't care where he goes next. How do I feel about him leaving Barcelona? Because again, this comes down to my club, Barcelona. Look, Gündogan as a player, obviously, if you guys have watched my channel, I am very, very happy with the contributions that Okay Gündogan has made since he got to Barca last year. I think last year, if you guys have watched my channel enough, you know I said he was our best and most consistent player all of last season, and I stand by that. I thought he was fantastic last year. Helped us tremendously coming over, obviously, on a free from Man City after winning a treble and being one of the best players on that team. So I thought Gündogan last year was fantastic. For a Barca team that had barely any bright spots last season, he was one of the bright spots. But then this season, during preseason, this preseason, he kind of turned me off a little bit. You know what I mean? His lack of pressing, his lack of energy on the pitch, you know, his comments to Arda Güler really rubbed me the wrong way. And it's confirmed, by the way. People that speak Turkish heard what he was saying. And he was actively talking poorly about his young teammates to Arda Güler, a rival player. And I don't care what anybody says about Gündogan's leadership and mentality, which I think he has. Obviously, he's a great leader and has a winning mentality. That's one of the reasons why I would want him to stay at Barca, but I'll get to that a little bit later. You don't do that. You don't talk bad about your teammates to opposing players, okay? You just don't do it. Especially when you're talking bad about your teammates to a kid who's 19 years old, who's also a young player. Like, if you want to talk bad about your teammates to Toni Kroos, that's one thing, or Luka Modric, experienced players, that's fine. But to go to Arda Güler and shit-talk your young teammates, to me, is pitiful, and I was really, really disappointed by Gündogan when he did that. So again, he also had the whole thing with Araujo. So over the past few months, it's been kind of toxic with Gündogan. You know, he made those comments after the El Clásico. So there's Gündogan the player and Gündogan the personality off the pitch. You know, as a player, again, like I said, people have been pointing this out, by the way, he's not a Hansi Flick type of player. You know, Hansi Flick's system relies a lot on pressing, counter-pressing, off-the-ball stuff that you need your midfielders to do. And Okay Gündogan is simply not that player. He's just not a guy who's going to press for 90 minutes and have that intensity for 90 minutes. And when you're playing with Hansi Flick, that sounds gross. Don't play with Hansi Flick. The Flickinator is off limits, okay? Only for me. When you play for Hansi Flick, you need to be able to have that switch on for the whole 90 minutes, and Gündogan doesn't have that. I think Hansi Flick talked to Gündogan and actually said, there's a report that came out that I saw that Hansi Flick talked to Gündogan and said, you know what, you're not guaranteed game time. Like you're not a guaranteed starter like you were last year on the Xavi. I mean, Gündogan barely missed any games for us last year and was a guaranteed starter every single game basically for Barca under Xavi. So Hansi Flick said, you know what, you're not a guaranteed starter. But I think even with that, Gündogan wanted to stay because, again, you're earning good money. He's our third highest earner, I'm pretty sure, and you're living in a beautiful city. And he's already won all the trophies he has to win. So he's just like, you know what, I'm going to stay here. So again, that's one part of it. There's Gündogan, the player from last year who was amazing in my opinion. The Gündogan from last year who was amazing in my opinion. But there's that whole relationship that kind of went sour with the whole Araujo thing in the comments after the Clásico and the Arda Güler thing. And there's also the whole thing with the manager that it looks like he's not a player for Hansi Flick. And also the wages, Barca want to get him off the wage bill. That's fine. If you want to sell Gündogan to Man City, I'm really not upset about that because I think a lot of you guys were going to expect me to come out here and be upset about selling Gündogan. Again, I think with Barca, there's a lot of midfielders that we have. Again, most of them are injury prone and not reliable. But I think Barca have good enough midfielders, especially with Fermin Lopez, who can kind of fill that void, in my opinion, that I wouldn't be upset if Gündogan leaves. Again, I think we need him for some things, but I wouldn't be really that upset if he leaves. If he leaves on a free, it's disastrous, man. It is disastrous if we let Okay Gündogan go on a free. And if we let him go on a free, this will go down as one of the worst transfer windows in the history of any club. Not just Barcelona, in the history of any club. And I had to watch the 17-18 transfer window. And I had to watch... Sorry, I had to burp. There we go. And I had to watch the 16-17 transfer window. Okay? This transfer window has been a joke. What you sold Nicole 5 for was fucking pitiful. Where you're gonna sell Victor Roque, it's gonna be pitiful. You sold Ronald Araujo for fucking pennies. All these young players, I mean, you're making no money, and now you're gonna let Gündogan go on a free. Again, I understand his wage bill is off the books, and you can register Dani Olmo, but still, man, at least get some money for him. Get something. I mean, you can at least turn a profit, or at least make it so where you can swap him for Cancelo. Get something back. Get something in return. Don't just let him leave. Again, getting him off the wage bill is fine, but don't just let him leave. Please. Deco, Joan Laporta, do something, do your job. Like, again, I don't want Gündogan just to leave on a free. And, you know, I think you guys might, like I said, you guys might be shocked at what I'm saying, but again, I've covered how I feel about Gündogan when it comes to Hansi Flick's system and the fact that, you know, people have been talking about how he can play for Pep, but he can't play for Hansi Flick. Pep and Hansi Flick employ two very different systems. Pep is a lot about staying to your position. Pep is not like this fluid, all this different stuff. Like, Pep is really about, I'm putting you in a position, you stay there. You do what I fucking tell you to do. You're not moving anywhere else. Hansi Flick, like we saw in the game against Valencia, it's very fluid. Like, there's two different systems. You can be I think you can be a player for a certain manager, but not another manager. You know, you can thrive under a certain manager, but be not that great under another manager. I mean, obviously you guys know that it's football. It's very nuanced. So I don't buy this whole thing about how Gündogan is good enough for Pep, but he's not good enough for Hansi Flick, so Barca, we're stupid for selling him. Again, I don't think Hansi Flick necessarily is going to rely on Gündogan that much this year. And to have a 30, he's in his mid-30s, bro. He's going to be on a free next year. He can start negotiating with teams in December, in January. So, you know, if you want to get rid of him now because you don't see a future with Gündogan, that's fine. You know, I'm not that upset about that. But what I am upset about is the way that Barca are going about it. The way that you're going about things is not okay. It's the same thing that happened with Xavi. This way that you guys want to kick people out of the club, it's like, it's coward. It's for cowards, bro. Joan Laporta and Deco are both cowards. The way they kicked out Xavi was I'm gonna say it was a pussy move. They're both pussies for doing what they did to Xavi. I'm sorry for coming out here and saying the P word, but it's true. And what they're doing to Okay Gündogan by like just blasting him in the media and literally forcing him out, like wanting him, like they were like just feeding reports to the media so much so that Gündogan said eventually, you know what, I'm gonna leave. You guys want me out that much, I will leave. It's awful, man. It's an awful way to run a football club, and people are gonna look at that and not take it seriously. And other players are not gonna want to come to Barca because Okay Gündogan is a guy who's very well respected amongst football players. I mean, this is a guy who's played for one of the most successful teams of this era. People know who Okay Gündogan is. He carries he has a cachet. So again, for me, I'm not upset that Gündogan is leaving because there's a lot of factors that go into it. Again, I was upset about the whole Arda Güler situation. I don't think he personally fits Hansi Flick's system. I think he's a player who's older. You know what I mean? But I don't like the way that he's leaving. And I also don't like the fact that Barca Now with Gündogan leaving, again, Gundogan's not a guy who's going to press and do all that stuff, but what he does have is still immense quality when he has the ball at his feet, and we saw it last year. I mean, the guy is still one of the best in the world, in my opinion, as a midfielder, and especially when he gets into that final third, he can make things happen. But again, we have Fermin, who's not, I don't even consider Fermin a midfielder, to be honest with you, but again, a guy who can play right behind the front line. But Gündogan, you know what he does have that you can't teach? He has experience. He has winning mentality. He has a veteran savvy about him. And I know that sounds corny to a lot of people, but it's true, bro. In modern football, you need a mixture of young talent, which Barca have, and experience. Experienced veterans who can help you win. Go look at the teams who have won UCLs in the past couple years. Look at those teams. Look at Madrid last year. Who did Madrid have, right? So you had the younger players like Arda Güler, and like, you know, if you want to call Vinicius Jr. a young player, and like Eder Militao, and these young guys, and then you had that core of Courtois, and Cruz, and Modric, and Carvajal, UCL winning players, right? So you have the young players, Rodrigo, you have that, and then you have your older core. Man City last year, you had Erling Haaland, a young Erling Haaland. You obviously had, you know, who else? Jack Grealish, and I don't know, Phil Foden, all these youngsters, Ruben Diaz. And then you had your veteran core of Kevin De Bruyne and Okay Gündogan, you know? And Ederson. You need a mixture of both if you want to win. And Barca, we're trying out there. You know, we're gonna have Lewandowski, and then the rest of our team is gonna be what? People who have to be in bed by 9 o'clock. You know, like what the fuck is that? That's what pisses me off. It's the fact that we're losing a guy who has veteran leadership, who has that winning mentality. Again, do I like the fact that he's talking shit about his teammates to the opposing team? Absolutely not. But again, that was a one-time thing. I'm sure, I don't know if he feels bad about it. I was just going to say, I'm sure he feels bad about it. How the fuck am I supposed to know? Do you talk to him personally, you fucking idiot? No, now I'm insulting myself in front of the camera. But again, I hate when people do that. I'm sure he feels bad about it. How the fuck do you know if he feels bad about it? You see how upset I'm getting? I'm stuttering. But anyway, again, I'm mad about that. I'm mad about the way that Barca are pushing Gündogan out because he didn't deserve this. After what he did for us last season, coming over on a free, he didn't deserve to get kicked out like this. But again, I'm not that upset about it because he's older. He doesn't really fit Hansi Flick's system, and he's a guy who was probably not going to be at Barca next year. So, but again, if Barca want to let him go on a free, that's insane. And Deco and Joan Laporta, they are not off the hook with this because they've continued to lie to us throughout this whole transfer window. And this transfer window, like I said, has been fucking embarrassing, and it's because of those two fucking clowns. Both of them are clowns. It's like it's Barnacle Boy and the other guy from fucking SpongeBob. I don't know. Both of the two shitty superheroes. That's Joan Laporta and Deco. What's the other guy's name? Barnacle Boy is the fat one or the other one? I don't know. One of the two. Joan Laporta's the fat guy and then Deco's the guy with the huge nose. Come on. Like, do your job properly. What happened to the Nike deal? What happened to the Libero thing? What happened to all that? What happened to the 1+1? Where are all these? You know, Joan Laporta came out and said, we can sign Nico Williams. Barca are in a really good financial situation. Where is that now? Because it seems like we're not in a good financial situation. It seems like you've been lying to the fans this whole time so you can get re-elected next year. It seems like you've done nothing proactive to actually help this club this summer transfer window besides signing a kid from Asia because you wanted to make a statement. You signed Victor Roque because you wanted to compete with Madrid. Fuck you, bro. It's honestly so upsetting. Fuck you, like he's watching this video. But honestly, bro, it is upsetting. And Gündogan just leaving. Now Gundogan's going to leave and probably going to win a fucking treble with Man City. And then we're going to be sitting here left with without winning a single fucking trophy. And we push Gündogan out. If Gündogan wins a treble with City, I'm done. I'm genuinely done at that point. I'll shut off the YouTube channel. But anyway, you know, Pep is probably going to get Okay Gündogan now. We'll see how he does there. I want to say thank you to Gündogan, even though, again, he's not watching this video. I'm talking to these people personally. They have no fucking idea who I am. I want to say thank you to Gündogan for, you know, the season that he had with us. Now that he's 100% leaving, I can say that, honestly, it was amazing to watch him and his veteran leadership and his just his intelligence on the pitch. His football IQ is second to none. This is a guy, you see why he's one of the most decorated players of this generation when it comes to trophies. A guy who's come up so big for Man City so many different times. And yeah, man, good for him. Get out of this toxic environment that Barcelona is. You know, Ferran Torres is still at the club. So many of these shitty players are still at the club, but we're pushing out Okay Gündogan, which makes no sense to me. But again, he's older. I understand. But I would have loved to see him stay for one more year just because I would have liked to see him under Hansi Flick and see what can happen because I believe in Barca this year and I think we can do great things. But it's not going to happen. We still have Lewandowski, which I'm pissed about. But yeah, man, we'll see. Deco and Joan Laporta, clowns. Again, do I think this is entirely their fault? No, because I think Hansi Flick made it clear to Gündogan he wasn't going to be a key piece to his system. But again, Deco and Joan Laporta and the way that they handle the media and all this stuff, it's honestly disgusting. And it's not the way that two people who run the Barcelona should be acting. It's just not the way that they should be acting. But again, those are just my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know about Gündogan. Let me know about Victor Roque. Let me know about Ferran Torres. A lot of Barca news today, man. The Barca news today was fucking crazy. But again, this is the most important thing that I saw. So I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, man, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, like I said, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.